Hi, my name is Mike Ward. I'm the Global Director of Content at Informa Pharma Insights. I'm here at the Biotech Showcase, which is taking place in San Francisco, alongside the JP Morgan meeting. And as you can sort of see, it's a pretty buzzy meeting where the biotech and the pharma industry all gets together. I've been joined by Denis, Corin, who's the CEO of Q BioMed, which is a new business that was founded in the middle of last year. You describe it as an accelerator company. So could you actually explain to us, who Q BioMed is?
Sure, Mike, thanks. So Q BioMed is basically a brainchild that spawned out of many years of experience in the sort of junior biotech sector that myself and my partners have found, where there is some really innovative, great scientific product, either in small private companies or academia, that have raised a little bit of money with friends and family and grown to a certain place, and then really struggle to accelerate their development to a place where they can make a commercial product out of it. And we've seen so much of that over the years, where a lot of these great promising technologies have died on the vine, so to speak. Yeah. So we said, well, let's put together a public vehicle holding company that we can formulate and bring all our assets to bear, whether it's strategic capital, strategic human resources, and a depth of experience management and biotech executives and pharma executives. And if you take a look at the bios of the people that are around us, you'll really see we have a tremendously deep bench of knowledge from the industry that we can bring to these small private assets and bring that capital, whether it's, like I said, human capital or money capital, and help them develop and accelerate their development of their project and their product and bring it to market.
Right. Now, I mean, it's kind of interesting because we've seen that these catalyst or accelerator programs exist, but they're normally either associated with a geography, a cluster, or they're associated with sort of therapeutic areas. But if I understand correctly, that isn't the approach that you guys are taking. You're more agnostic.
Yeah, I would say agnostic is a good way to describe it. We're really looking for good value and management teams that we can work with and that understand the value that we bring to them. So it doesn't matter if it's a diagnostic company or a pharmaceutical drug or a revenue producer, and it doesn't matter where in the world it is. We've already had a lot of discussions with companies in the UK, for example. So we're really looking for good value that investors in our company would never have seen. They may not know of this small private company in the UK that's going into phase 2 in some indication that's got some great value attached to it, but they would never be able to invest in that. But having a public vehicle like Q BioMed, they can make their investment. We in turn help bring all these resources to that small languishing company, help develop it and bring it to fruition. So it doesn't really matter. We're not pigeonholing ourselves in preclinical or oncology, or it doesn't matter where it is. As long as there's good value and a great management team that we can work with and bring our assets to, we think that's a great partnership to help develop and accelerate the development of that technology and product.
So if I was an inventor and I had a hot asset, I mean, I would expect that I'm going to have quite a few people pitching for my business, including some of the sort of blue chip VCs who've now taken an asset-centric approach. So what is it that you're offering that these other guys you don't think are able to deliver?
Well, I think the guys like you, that inventor, struggle a little bit in taking that next step and making that decision. Do I go the VC route, or do I do an IPO on my own? And that's where we bring a lot of our technical expertise and our human capital to the table, help them make those decisions. But from our own perspective is, as a VC, or if I was trying to protect you, so to speak, from the VC, they're going to come in, they're going to own you. You're attached to them forever, and you're giving up just about everything. Q BioMed is taking the approach of we really want to partner with those inventors and those small private companies and grow their management and help them grow themselves, bring some of our capital and our expertise to bear, and together we grow that and get to a point maybe in a couple of years where we could take that to a VC or IPO it on its own. So we accelerate and incubate together, and then ultimately have an exit strategy for that inventor or that technology. Maybe we just bring it to market ourselves, or we IPO it, or we partnered with a bigger pharma company or a VC.
So you were created last year. So how much capital do you have access to put to work at the moment?
Well, we have some capital. Like I said, we've just started in June of last year, sort of really after a year and a half or so of sort of building the business plan and looking at assets. So We've just started raising the capital. We'll have some information out on that in our 10K in the next couple of weeks. But we've already done our first acquisition of a deal, a glaucoma asset out of Chicago, Northwestern University and Mannin Research Inc. So we've got our first asset acquisition done. We have the capital to now start developing that project. And we're looking at other assets more on the revenue generating side of the spectrum to sort of add some revenue to our project. So our pipeline will have multiple assets over a good spectrum, consistent news flow, consistent milestones, gives some excitement to the market and mitigates the risk for some of the investors. They have multiple assets now under this umbrella, and the inventors also have the ability to have an equity position in Q BioMed. So as their asset grows, their personal asset grows, and as the other assets in our portfolio grow, they also stand to benefit from that.
So is when you raise capital, is that earmarked for a particular asset, or is it going into Q BioMed and then you guys deploy that?
It's going to Q BioMed, and the reason we created Q BioMed is so that we can access public capital. So we have access to all of the public capital that's available, whether it's from hedge funds or biotech-centric funds that invest in single projects. But we have the ability to distribute it and do it according to our project needs at the time.
And are you able to say how big your war chest is at the moment, or how big you would like that war chest to be?
Well, we'd like the war chest to grow substantially over the next couple of years, but we're not going out and trying to do a $100 million raise and then just go buy up a bunch of assets. We're working in a more strategic, sort of step-by-step platform, executing on our business plan slowly and steadily, so that we can grow the asset and the value for our shareholders as we go. So the war chest isn't substantial at the moment, but we're currently raising capital to go and do our further acquisitions and to develop these assets as we go.
Okay. So could you describe you said you've acquired or you've got links with an asset in the ophthalmology area.
Yes.
Could you describe, one, how did you identify that, and two, how that deal has been structured so that all the stakeholders are still motivated?
Sure. So the identification, and to be honest, we have more things on our desk right now than one could shake a stick at, so to speak. There's a plethora of great technologies out there looking for investment in some of the strategic resource that we bring. And all these deals just come from our network after years in the biotech space. Our list of advisors from major pharma all the way through, all see deal flow and different technologies that they like, and they help us vet. So we'll see ideas and we'll bring it to our group and have everybody pick it apart and say, yeah, this one's really got some legs, and then we'll structure deals. So with this one in particular, it's a little bit early stage, but extremely, urgently needed a molecule for glaucoma. It would be an eye drop that would treat intraocular eye pressure. There hasn't been a new drug since the latanoprost 20 years ago from Pfizer. So this is a massive market area that needs attention. And how we structured this was Q BioMed has taken an exclusive license on the technology. And as we each hit milestones, as they hit a milestone in terms of development, and we've provided capital for that, we grow to a point where we've put together a significant partnership. And each of us, have a vested interest in the ultimate outcome of that. So we grow together, we provide capital, they hit milestones, and we sort of lockstep each other's performance together. We're not saying, you have to give us everything and maybe we'll go help you or maybe we'll raise money. It's a partnership where we each have to hit milestones along the way.
So you said it's early stage. So what does that mean? Is it?
It's preclinical. It's preclinical.
Preclinical.
The molecule's been described and is ready. It's being optimized right now at Northwestern.
So we got differentiation of the chemistry.
Yeah, it's ready to go. We have a clinical plan already built out. The clinical program, the clinical partners are all ready to go.
Right.
It's just a case of optimizing the molecule and having it manufactured, doing some final tox studies, and then starting the clinical process. So we're looking at a 3-year plan with this asset to get it to a point where it's through proof of concept phase 1 trials. At that point, it's right in that realm where companies like Aerie and iTech, even Regeneron got its start, in this type of space, and they command, $200 to $1 billion market caps. The two closest competitors were in phase 2 are $200 to $700 million market caps. We're sitting at 30 right now. So that's where we hope to grow as we develop these assets and grow value for our shareholders and for our inventor partners.
Right. So you've already got the one asset. As you move forward, how much bandwidth do you think you're going to be able to have? How many tracks or assets do you think you're going to have under management?
Right, so I'd like to approach this in a very steady, stepwise manner. So I'm hoping like by the end of this year we'll have 2 or 3 assets under the Q umbrella. The ophthalmology one, we may even start to grow into an ophthalmology franchise where there's some other assets that we're looking at that might really complement that. And the key is here that all of these assets come with, you know, experts and management teams of their own. So it's not necessarily our bandwidth that's being taken up. We're bringing in additional management and bandwidth as we grow. So, you know, I would say 3 to 5 assets by the end of this year. And honestly, looking at what we've got on deck right now, some of these are really phenomenal value that are just needing a little bit of a push and some of the resources that we bring to it. And, you know, the blue sky here is my goal is to build this into, you know, $500 million type market cap over the next 2 or 3 years as we grow these assets to places where they are competing on the ophthalmology side, for example, where they compete with iTech and Aerie that are in that space already. Right. And as we build in some other revenue generators, you know, you get 4 times earnings and all that kind of thing that goes with it. So, you know, I think we have we have lots of bandwidth to build the business and a significant opportunity. Healthcare, you know, is not going anywhere.
So you're at this meeting. Are you asset hunting, or are you looking for investors, or are you looking for, you know, potential partners moving forward for these assets?
I'm agnostic, like you said earlier on. We're doing both. So we have some great meetings with some potential partners that we're quite a long way along the road on in terms of looking at additional asset acquisition, and we're also meeting investors and funds and other people that can bring capital to our development. So as we grow those assets, the funds will come along to support.
And you don't care where in the world it's coming from, these assets?
From an asset standpoint, not really. One of our senior advisors and our VP of development is based in London, England. So we have access, and Wombat Capital, who we've partnered with, have offices in Paris. So we have a global view of things, but, you know, a little bit closer to home to start is better because we have a little bit more control as we grow, and as we get bigger, we'll be able to spread our wings a bit further.
All right. Well, good luck with those ambitions. Thanks very much, Denis. Cheers. Bye-bye.